Hello once again, everyone. Thanks for showing up today. We're going to talk a little bit about how you can thrive in shoulder season. And you can see my name there on the screen. I'm Stephen Wright. If you have any questions during this webinar, highly recommend submitting a question down in the panel on your screen there. And at the end, we will definitely go through the questions that you all receive, or that you all send me that I receive. And if you do have any questions kind of in the middle and something pops up and I can see that something's relevant to what we're talking about immediately, I'll try to answer that quickly and move on. Again, if you don't want to ask a question in the panel, you can feel free to email me. You can see my email right there on the screen, Stephen@Q4Launch.com. And I will get back to you probably by the end of the day if you send me an email. So again, I appreciate you all coming out and listening and really all your support for all of our webinars that we do on an almost weekly basis. If you've been around for a long time now in terms of coming to our webinars, you would have heard of pretty similar, if not identical, topic back in August of 2015. Matt taught that one. Very similar. He was obviously talking about shoulder season as we were heading out of peak season and into the fall, and now we are heading into peak season for most places. Obviously, there are some of you are in ski destinations and things like that are actually winding down your peak season, but we want to help you better understand how you can capitalize on this important time of the year where revenue might not historically be the highest, but we want to help you give some ideas on how to capitalize on that and how to increase your revenue during these next several months. So as always, we're going to email this out to you. We record all of our webinars. We put them on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Q4Launch. If you just want to, go see all of them, we will also put it on our website, and I will send out an email to all of you after the webinar is over. Probably sometime by the end of this week or the beginning of next week, you'll have an email with that as well. Alrighty. The first place that we want to start with this, and you've heard, again, if you've been with us for a while, you've heard Matt talk about this concept of the 5 stages of travel, and the things that we do in our marketing, really any time of the year, but we're going to touch on them specifically for shoulder season. But any time of the year, we're looking to capitalize on one of these 5, if not multiple of these 5 stages of this travel cycle, right? We'll go through them quickly. You can kind of read along on the screen as well. But the 5 stages: dreaming, planning, booking, experiencing, and then remembering. The dreaming stage is really when people are starting to look for a vacation to begin with. They don't really know where they want to go. They have an idea, but maybe they don't know precisely where they want to go yet. This is when they're doing a lot of searching online. They're Googling things. They're figuring out what there is to do in different areas, and this is a great place that the blog can come in handy, because if you're writing great blogs that are getting ranked, you're going to show up as the local expert. People are going to find you, and they're going to get to your website that way. The next part there is the planning stage. So, maybe they've already found your website. Well, how can you help them plan their trips? We like to use a vacation guide for our customers, and it's a way that they can download a PDF of information. We provide that information, and now we're helping them plan their trip, and not just acting as a source of information, but we're actually providing even more information than what they might get, from other places as well. On top of that, you can have, if you don't do the vacation guide, obviously have some links on your site with pages that really plan out what exactly they can do, during their 1 to 5 day trip, depending on how long they're staying. The next thing, the booking stage. This is, a part that you just need to have a great booking partner in that, and they need to be mobile friendly. Obviously, the rise of mobile traffic, you need to make sure you have a mobile friendly booking system, property management system, reservation system, whatever it is you want to call it, making sure that it does what you need it to do, and very importantly, that it has a great mobile search and booking feature. This next part, the experiencing part, this is really where you all come into play. This is where it's kind of out of our hands. We've got them there now. or we've helped you get them to your properties. But this is where you all thrive, right? This is where you make sure that your guests have a great experience. So this is part of the travel cycle, when they're actually there on location, enjoying their trip, their vacation with their loved one, or their entire family, or just with some friends, whatever it might be. So yeah, I don't need to tell you all how to do this. You could probably give me some pretty good feedback on how to create a great guest experience. In fact, I've stayed with some of you and you have given me a great guest experience, so I appreciate that. And then the last part, this remembering phase, this is where we follow up with them and ask for some reviews. We also think that email marketing is a great way to help people remember their last vacation with you. So if I took a trip with my wife last summer to, we'll say, the Virgin Islands. I didn't. I wish I did. But let's say, and then, 6 months later or 9 months later now, we get an email that says, hey, remember your last stay with us? Come again to visit our luxurious, little slice of paradise on the Virgin Islands. And, that would be something that would help me remember that trip, get me looking on the website again, and then, hopefully for that property, getting me to book there as well. So 5 stages of the travel cycle. I won't go in any more detail than that, but just keep those in mind as we bring about some of these ideas on how to thrive in shoulder season. Keep these in mind, because each of these concepts will fit in one of these five stages that we're trying to attract people in. All right, we will move along here. All right, one of the first things that we feel like people can do, and we talked about this in the fall, and we think it is also relevant here in the spring, but what can you do to create experiences that go beyond just sleeping arrangements? So you can see some examples there. We have a relationship with a company who does some yoga retreats, and this is a way that properties can invite people in, invite this yoga retreat instructors in. They can do a 2-day yoga event, and in the process, you're getting bookings out of it as well, because they obviously need some place to sleep, in between their grueling yoga sessions. So that's an idea, and we've actually seen that work for a lot of our customers and help book rooms in the shoulder season that wouldn't otherwise book. And there's a lot of things you can do. Yoga retreats, cooking classes, wine and design. So, there's a lot of those in a lot of, cities that I've lived in and visited, where you can, go and, maybe you can host a wine event, invite in a local artist who can just take people through a simple painting or drawing while they enjoy wine and cheese and things like that. Same thing with the art classes. And really this time of year too, let's say you're in a mountainous region, you've had a lot of snow, and that snow starts to melt, and now the waterfalls are just they're bursting. They're in full effect right now. They're very beautiful. How can you capitalize on that? Well, maybe you can set up an excursion for them, whether it can be one that they can guide themselves on, or one that you can hire somebody to help take them on, and build that price into the packaging. But again, the point of this is to create this experiential travel that, why people might not, look to take vacation anytime except for summer or maybe winter breaks or things like that. In this springtime, how can you get people to come to your area when they might not otherwise, be thinking about that, and then promoting these ideas. So let's say you go with a cooking class that you're doing. Well, now it's important to get that message out there. So you need to be posting that on social media. You need to be sending out that email that features just that cooking class, for example, and trying to get bookings for very specific weekends that otherwise might go unused, or you might have a couple days or weekends go that you will never be able to get that inventory back if you don't do something to bring people to your property. Along with that, as you're thinking of these different things that you want to create, these different packages or these different events, these different experiences, who are some of the other people in your area that you might be able to partner with? A lot of times it's local restaurant owners. I mean, restaurant owners want people to come to your city as well, because then they get business from the food and beverage. Who else? The local chambers of commerce, local travelers bureaus, and places like that. They know probably, as well, if maybe sometimes better, but at least as well, what's going on in your area, the different events, the different festivals, what weekends are kind of booked out for everybody in general. So what can you do? How can you partner with those people to, one, create those packages and specials or events and experiences, and two, once you have that created, letting your local chamber know, letting your local restaurants know that, hey, we're hosting this cooking class on this Friday in March. We wanted to let you know so you can share it with your followers as well, and hopefully, we can not only get people to come to Friday to our cooking class, but they can come to you Saturday for brunch or Saturday for dinner or whatever the case might be. If it's an art class, again, going to maybe to local restaurants, letting the visitors bureau know what's going on so they can add it to their website, and again, just expanding your marketing through those people and using their resources as well, and not just relying on your own email database, your own Facebook followers, but really tapping into the resources that other people have as well in your area. This is huge. I think this is a picture that we used in the fall, and it reminds me of Oktoberfest, which is a great fall event that helps people capitalize on kind of that shoulder season in the fall. But what can you do those other times of the year? In the spring, as things are coming up, and I think we're having a little technical difficulty here, but let me get that back for you. All right, well, now we're back up and running. Sorry about that. Yeah, what can we do to capitalize on other events and festivals that are going on, in your area? The best thing to do, you obviously have a good idea of the different events, different festivals that are happening. The best thing I can tell you to do, or one of the best things I can tell you to do, is write a blog about that event or festival several months before it happens. So let's say, from a timing standpoint, that you have a great festival or event happening in May. Now would be a perfect time to write about that specific event, because it takes Google, 30 to 90 days to index that and rank that blog, so you need to be writing about it before that peak search time comes up and before people start searching for it. So let's say it's the end of May and you have a Memorial Day festival that's going on. Well, right now, again, I would write a blog, 500 to 700 words, that uses that specific keyword that you're trying to capture. So in this case, it'd probably be the festival. Use a lot of the dates. And if you've written one in the past that's done pretty well for you, maybe you just go into that same blog and you just update the dates and update the events and happenings of the things that might be going on. So writing the blogs about these things are great. And then once you have that written, then the blog allows you to share that then on your social media accounts. So you can post about this in Facebook. You can boost it if you so desire. You can do other things like that. And then with email, you can let your previous guests know that this event and festival is coming up, and you can send that email 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, whatever you feel like is an appropriate amount of time to let them know, so that you can get those weekend rooms or the midweek rooms booked, depending on when and where the festival is. So yeah, I think a great thing to do is just be very aware of the festivals and events happening in your area, write some blogs about them, and then hopefully you get ranked for that blog so people find it organically. And then two, repurposing that blog in the other areas of your marketing are going to pay huge dividends as well. All right, we will move beyond events and festivals, and again, this is a similar idea to that, but how do you tell the story of your local area? What we see here, on the right side is an example of a blog that we wrote for a customer within the last 6 months. And what our goal here was to do is just capitalize on a blog that people are searching for, or a topic that people are searching for, so that when people are searching for scenic drives in Connecticut, whether it's September, December, peak time in the summer, or maybe here coming up in the spring, that our customer is showing up. So you can see that when people search for scenic drives in Connecticut, the Stonecroft Country Inn shows up 5th in a Google search, and people are getting to their website around 80 to 100 times a month, and I'll show you the exact graph of that in just a second. But what are the other things in your area? Right, so if you're in the mountains, can you capitalize on any festivals going on in some of the mountain towns? Are there music festivals happening? Are there, obviously, if we were in the fall, we would talk about fall foliage and trying to get people there for the fall. But in spring, the waterfalls are melting. Maybe you're trying to get people to the beach to escape the winter blues. Figuring out what to write about at the right time of the year, and again, I would recommend going back and re-listening to our blogging webinar we taught recently. And again, you can find that on the YouTube channel, but it talks about, how to do research on the blogs that you should be writing. So where can you find some of this information? And then once you do that research, it also then talks about how you can get ranked. So when people are searching for scenic drives in Connecticut or random, spring festival happening in Charleston, South Carolina, those things are showing up in Google searches, and people are finding you this way as well. So now when people are coming into town for, a spring festival or, Easter celebrations or a Memorial Day event or, in this case, just scenic drives in an area, again, you are the expert. People are finding you, and people are going to be booking rooms with you because you're the one showing up during these times of the year that might not be the peak season like we've been talking about. Here's a quick example of that. So we wrote that blog late August for that customer for Stonecroft Country Inn. You can see it got ranked pretty quickly, and over the last 7 months, I guess 6 months in total, it's brought in 531 visitors to the website as a result of that blog. So again, that we expect that number just to continue to go up, and you can see in February it really spiked, and I don't have the exact number for the month of February, but that number keeps going up and up as it ranks better and more people are becoming aware of it, and we're able to repurpose it in other avenues of our marketing as well. But again, what is that thing in your area that you can get people to come, and what can you write about these times of the year that people might not be searching to travel? Again, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning as well, but just working with your local chamber, your visitors bureau to bring in groups. These are 3 examples of different festivals that are going on in some of our customers' areas. So the Eureka Springs Corvette Festival, the Cape Cod Brew Fest, the Mendocino Mushroom Festival is one that we're just using that from the fall. But again, capitalizing on that, you write a blog about it and it can get ranked. So I might be beating a dead horse with the blog idea, but it is of utmost importance that you know what people are searching for when they're looking to come to your area, and that you are establishing yourself as a local expert, and you do that by ranking in the blogs for that. So again, we talk a lot about that, but we definitely think it's of huge importance. And I think just the 2 examples we've seen with this Mendocino Mushroom Festival and the scenic drives in Connecticut, and I can go on and on and on about other times this has worked throughout the year. You really need to be writing these blogs and getting ranked for all the different things to do in your area. I have a question here, so I'm gonna pause for just a moment and answer this question from Mark. And the question is, how far in advance should you write about these events or specials? Great question. Our philosophy on this, and what we've seen work really well, is that your blogs need to be written about 30 to 90 days ahead of the peak search traffic time on average. So when you're looking at a festival or event or a holiday even, those things obviously happen once a year, right? So they're going to have one time in the year where you're going to have really, really high amounts of traffic in relation to the other times of the year. So what we would do if there's a festival in May, we would want to write about that sometime probably as early as mid-February, as late March or early April, depending on kind of what part of the month it's in. But we're looking to write that 30 to 90 days ahead of time, giving Google ample time to first of all, recognize that blog even exists, so to index it, and then 2, to rank it. We want our blogs to be ranked. So once it gets ranked, our hope is that it gets ranked before, just before kind of that peak search traffic time. So when, maybe in March nobody's searching for this May festival. In April, maybe there's 70 people searching for this May festival. But then when May gets here, there can be upwards of, we've seen, 200-300 to up to 1,000 people searching for festivals and events or holidays in a given time of the year. So again, that's what we recommend: 30 to 90 days ahead of time. Capitalize on the time frame and get ranked before that peak search traffic comes around. So great question. One thing, and we again have taught whole webinars on this, so I'm not going to dive in super deeply on this idea of yield management, but it is something you need to look at. Obviously, you're probably charging different rates, different times of the year, maybe different on the weekdays and weekends. But then how can you even get a little more granular with that? So okay, instead of just having a spring rate, how can you adjust rates based on the different events? So having, let's say you have 2 festivals throughout the spring that people are going to come to that you need to capitalize on. Why not increase your rates for those specific weeks, or those specific weekends, I should say, and go above and beyond where your normal rates might be during this shoulder season time of the year. Again, it's not just about getting more traffic to your site. It's about how can you get more revenue, into your bank account from these bookings, and really understanding when these peak times are that you can charge more. And sometimes if you need to maybe charge a little bit less, like the week of or what have you, that's okay too. But it's really managing this yield management. If you have a booking engine or a software that can automate this for you, that's helpful. And then I think the biggest thing is to pay attention to the schedule with festivals and events. If you have any sporting events, baseball opening day is coming up soon for the major leagues. So opening day tends to bring a lot of people into the towns where there are professional baseball teams. What can you do to capitalize on that? Can you raise your rates for opening day weekend? Can you just create blogs and start creating promotions around that, building packages around opening day? I grew up in the Cincinnati area, and I have a friend who has taken his son to, it'll be 19 opening days this year. So I know, it's a very popular thing. People are doing it all the time, and it's something, that comes around once a year, and you need to be capitalizing on it if you're in one of those areas. Obviously, that doesn't apply to everybody, but there are going to be things that do apply to your area. One thing that we try to help people look at too is using historic data to help you set your future rates. If you can generate a pace report, that's unbelievably helpful, because you then know like how aggressive you can be with your yield management and so forth. And then let's say in 2016 you sell out for a weekend 8 months ahead of time, or that's probably long, 8 weeks ahead of time. You're already sold out. What we would tell you is that you probably were priced too low, and then you could have gotten anywhere from $10 to $30 additional per room per night had you been exercising some yield management as well. So again, we have a whole webinar on this that we can go in a lot more detail on the ins and outs of yield management, but know that you should be paying attention to your rate and capitalizing on some peak weekends within shoulder season to make sure that your revenue is as good as it can be during this, again, somewhat slower time of the year for most people. Invite them back. This is, we talked about the 5 stages of the travel cycle earlier. This is the part of the remembering phase, and we feel very strongly about this. You need to have an email database that people who have stayed with you in the past. I mean, as well as people who haven't stayed with you but have inquired, right? We want to have an email database that includes a lot of different types of people. But my bet is that most of your database is probably people who have stayed with you in the past. And knowing that, you need to invite them back. Use your email campaigns to touch them a couple times a month. And then if you want to be very specific and invite them in the shoulder season time and a normal slower time, give your repeat guests or people who stayed with you in the past, give them a different experience. Give them something special. You can see in the picture it's flowers and a bottle of champagne. I mean, it doesn't have to be that. It could be, doesn't have to be. If you wanted to give them a discount on a shoulder season stay because they stayed with you in the last 6 to 9 months, give them that discount. Make them feel like they are a valued guest, a valued customer that you want to come back time and time again, because they're already going to come in the summer, right? They liked you in the summer. Why not give them more reason to come a couple different times in the year, and let them experience your property and your area during all the seasons, and not just focus on one time of the year that they've been before. So invite them back, give them offers, remind them consistently through email marketing, and you should be doing that anyways. You should be sending out at least one email campaign a month regardless, but there's no shame and there's no reason you shouldn't be doing this more, even if you're trying to fill additional rooms in shoulder season. So yeah, the email marketing is going to be a great way that you can accomplish that. Really, with everything that we do and that we recommend, is that you need to be consistent with it. So whether it's posting 3 to 5 times a week on social media, or writing a weekly blog, or sending out 2 email campaigns a month, not every single campaign is going to just knock it out of the ballpark. I'll go with my baseball opening day reference, but not every campaign is going to knock it out of the ballpark all the time. So you're going to have to try things. You're going to have to test what works, what doesn't work. And then once you know what works, then you can repeat that. You can duplicate that successful campaign as often as you can, until maybe you need to come up with a new campaign. But look at these things, writing blogs. You need to write weekly blogs. If you just write one blog today of an event that's happening in May, but you're not writing consistently, Google isn't going to reward you. You need to be doing that consistently so that you have fresh content all the time. Google will reward you, and not only will you will show up favorably in the search engines, but now you have a lot of different material that you can use in your social media campaigns and your email campaigns. Weekly blogs, you need to do it. At least 3 times a month, you need to be doing it, but we would recommend weekly. The email campaigns, we have twice listed there. Hopefully you're sending out at least 1 a month. If not, start there. Start committing to 1 a month and be consistent with that. So you'd send 12 emails over the course of a year. Highly recommend twice a month, but it's important that you need to be blogging with some consistency so that you have enough great content to send great email campaigns. The worst thing that you could probably do in that situation would be to start sending out, like, say, 2 or 3 emails a month, but you have nothing new to tell people in your database. You need to have that blog, so then it feeds your email marketing campaign. Same with social media. You need to make sure that you have fresh content. Blog is a great way to do that, and then sharing other content with your local businesses and things like that are great ways to just be posting consistently on social media. This is an idea Matt came up with, and I might take him up on this and take some PTO myself and come visit some of you all. But one of the ideas that he had last year was, like, why not have some sort of a paid time off campaign, right? A lot of people they have vacation time, right? They have PTO, but there's a portion of those people who are workaholics or just can't take time off, or for whatever reason they have unused PTO. I try to not be one of those people, and thankfully Matt allows me to go on vacation and take trips, and thoroughly appreciate that. But we know that there are people out there who just don't take vacations because they don't feel like they have time, or what have you. There's a myriad reasons why people won't take all of their PTO. So one of the ideas that we came up with, and you feel free to use this, is creating some sort of paid time off campaign where you kind of impress that upon people, make them feel that, hey, we know that you haven't taken all of your PTO. Why not spend 2 nights to come during the midweek. Bring your wife, bring your husband, leave the kids with your in-laws, whatever it might be. Use that PTO, come for a couple days, and receive a bottle of champagne and and fresh flowers for your wife, or whatever the campaign is. The language is going to be different depending on where you are and what you want to offer. The point is, this is a pain point for people. They understand that they're not taking as much vacation as they're even allowed to by their company or by their employer. Press into that, make them feel that sense of urgency, so that so that they'd be willing to get out of this work 24/7 mentality and take some time away and refresh and regroup. They'll thank you for it, right? If you can convince people to take that day or 2 days off of work, come see you in the midweek, they're going to thank you for that. They're going to feel refreshed, and they're going to go back to work probably a happier person if they had not taken that time at all. This is a campaign that we ran, several years ago now, and obviously this is not for the spring. But how can you also capitalize on gift certificates this time of year? You can run email campaigns to do that. Make people know that that there are gift certificates that they can purchase. Not just in this case it was Cyber Monday, in hopes of people getting presents and gift certificates for Christmas, but why not this time of year? Why not purchase a gift certificate for Mother's Day, for Father's Day coming up? A lot of people get married in the spring and early summer before peak season really hits, so why not purchase an anniversary gift certificate for a couple that it creates cash flow during these off-peak times, so it's a way to generate it's not room revenue, obviously, yet, but it's a way to generate revenue. People love, again, we talked earlier about experiences and things like that. Well, what we want you to do is create packages that include experiences, and then with this, what we're looking at is how can we're giving the gift of experience. I can tell you right now, if my parents or my wife's parents gave us an anniversary gift this May, for a 2-day trip to really anywhere in the country, we would be extremely grateful, and that would probably be the best gift they could give us, even more than a gift certificate to a restaurant. If they were willing to pay for a night stay somewhere, that would be an unbelievable gift to my wife and I. And I think there's a lot of people who share that that desire to be able to go travel and be able to do it without having to break the bank in this case. And historically, you can see there that of those gift certificates that are purchased, not all of them are going to be redeemed. So at the end of the day, some of that is going to be straight, cash in your pocket, and you'll never have to redeem that. You can see that there's a 70% breakage on average, and you can see that means that 30% will never be used. So again, that's 30% of that gift certificate revenue that you'll never even have to, to honor, because people aren't going to show up at that sort of frequency. So again, if you've been with us in the past, you know that we believe strongly in allowing you to take a next step and to figure out what are some ways that you specifically can capitalize on shoulder season, and what can you do in these next couple of months to maximize your revenue in a time of the year that might not be historically the best revenue months for you. So again, we're going to provide that next step for you like we always do. And what we want to offer this time is that we will offer you and provide for you a 1-month marketing plan template. Give me 2 seconds here to explain what that will look like. Essentially, you can see there it says blog topic ideas to bring in fall bookings. Obviously replace that with spring, because we're looking to capitalize on spring bookings here. But what we want to do is help you come up with the next 4 blog topics that you can write that'll help you get traffic to your website and capitalize on events in your area over the next couple of months before the summer gets here. We want to give you an email campaign idea that we know has worked for us and for our customers. We want to give you that idea and allow you to implement that on your own as well, to get people to your website through this email campaign that you can then put together on your own. We want to give you some different SEO tips and some keyword recommendations, so to help you rank for things that people are searching for this time of year. We're going to do that in this 1 month marketing plan, and we're going to give you some ideas on what you should be posting to social media this time of year, again, to generate this interest. So if you're interested in that, again, we're going to offer that to you completely free. We'll send out an email after the webinar so you can sign up for that, or you can send me an email. Again, my email is steven@q4launch.com. But essentially, we're going to give you the next month's worth of marketing ideas that you can implement today, and those ideas should help you generate more business over these next couple months before we get into peak season. Again, I'm going to send out an email with that, with a form that you can fill out. But if you want, you can see now my email address is on the screen there, steven@q4launch.com. Feel free to email me, and I'd be glad to set that time up to give you that report or give you that marketing plan, and we can go from there. So again, I told you we'd probably be done in 30 to 45 minutes a day, and right now we're at the 34-minute mark. So what I want to do now is just take a little bit of time and answer any specific questions that you all might have. We do have some questions here in the chat panel. So again, we'll spend the next 5-10 minutes to answer any questions you have about how to thrive in shoulder season. Feel free to send those my way, and I'll answer them again here for the next several minutes. I do have one comment here in the question panel from Tom, a friend of ours at Q4Launch, that he liked the skydive shot. It wasn't me. I probably will never try to skydive ever. So if you're building a package at your property and you want to include a skydive package, my wife will be there and I will not. I do not like heights, which might make me a baby, but that's okay. I don't plan on jumping out of a plane ever, unless I absolutely have to. So yeah, I'm glad you liked the photo, Tom. It wasn't me. I don't think it was Matt, even though he would be a lot more likely to be jumping out of an airplane. I can guarantee that. Got a question here. How do we know, what to write about? Excuse me, for some of those blogs. And again, we actually covered that the last couple weeks in a webinar on how to blog and how to really capitalize on that. Use Google's Keyword Planner. You're going to have an idea of what events and festivals are happening in your area at any given time, anyways. But what you need to do is you need to verify that people are actually searching for that, and you can verify that through Google Keyword Planner, because it gives you not only the average monthly search volume for any particular keyword, but it also will show you the peak month in which that keyword is being searched the most. So use that. It's a great tool, and I definitely think that you would benefit from using the Keyword Planner. Again, if anything else, just to verify, what you already know, that people are coming for a certain time of year. But I think where it might help you is that if, let's say, there's an event in May, but people start searching for it in March or April, you'll be able to write about that, maybe even, obviously we're past this now, but you could write about it late January, early February, and start capitalizing on some of that traffic even ahead of time. Got a question here about how to create the best types of packages that people are going to want to come for. That's going to be very, very specific and unique to your individual area, right? So you're going to have to know, who's your customer base? Why do they like to come to your area? What restaurants do they like to come to? One thing we recommend is partnering with a local restaurant and providing, vouchers to that restaurant. Combine it with a stay, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to discount. You don't want to discount your rates necessarily in that case, but what you want to do is by putting a package together that includes, a restaurant voucher, a 2-night stay, and let's say, if you want to throw in a dozen roses, what all that costs separately. But if you put that together, you put one price on it, a lot of people are going to be very happy that you have it planned for them already, and that'll be, enough for them. When they see that you've already taken care of the planning, they don't have to do it, especially men. If men don't have to plan and all we have to do is pay, and the whole vacation package is taken care of, it's going to be exceptional. So think about those sorts of things, partnering with local restaurants or whatever else, other local businesses that attract people to the area as well, and creating packages like that. So if you have any specific questions, let me know. Other than that, I think that's at least a good starting point on how to generate some ideas. Got a question here from Matt about do we have a past webinar on yield management? And we do. I think Matt taught that probably 2 to 3 weeks ago. So what I can do is I can send you a copy of that, Matt. If you want to, I will try to remember to do that. But if you want to send me an email as well, again, my email's on the screen. Just send me that. I'll get back to you pretty quickly. If you can send me that email, I'm pretty good about getting back to emails as quickly as I can. So send me that, and I'll forward the page onto you that has the yield management webinar on it on our website. You can take a look at that. So. There's no other questions right now in the chat panel. So if you have any more, I will linger here for a few seconds if you have any other questions that you want to ask. If not, we definitely appreciate you, coming out again today. Again, we've really enjoyed changing from about a monthly webinar to doing these weekly webinars. If you have any topics that you'd like us to touch on, feel free to email us. We're always looking for new ideas, and obviously we want to serve you and the industry as well as we can. So using your ideas and questions that you have to craft new webinars is something that we're very interested in. So feel free to let us know that, and we'd love to do a webinar that is completely your idea. So you can send me an email, send Matt an email, and we'd love that. So doesn't look like any other questions have come in. So again, I thank you for stopping by today. We'll follow up with an email on requesting that 1-month marketing plan. And from there, we will also then send out the recording probably either later this week or early next week. Thanks again. Looking forward to chatting with you on the next webinar, either Matt or myself, and we'll talk to you soon. We appreciate you stopping by.